Well, and fans, we are underway. This first jam, I'm going to direct your attention to the skaters with the stars on their helmet. You see one of those skaters right there, Scald Eagle, break out of the pack. That is exactly what the jammers are supposed to do. Their task is to get around all of the blockers in the pack. Once they've done that one time, every opposing blocker that they pass after that is worth 1 point. So Scald Eagle, who just called off the jam there, picked up 4 points for her team.
Now, the reason she can call off that jam is because she was the lead jammer, meaning she was the first one on her initial pass to get out of that pack. Something you should be able to see quite often tonight, Mike Jex.
My guess is we will be seeing that often tonight, sir. So we talked about in the first jam, the jammers are the ones that score the points. This first pass here is to establish who, if either of the jammers, is the lead jammer.
And at this time, looks like Untamed Shrew, she's your first jammer out, so she is the lead jammer.
So now Untamed Shrew is able to score points for the Guns N' Rollers. Meanwhile, Screaming Beaver, who is the jammer for the Heartless Heathers, is fighting against the defense in the front of the pack. She is still working on her first pass. Now that she has cleared all of the opposing blockers, she can score points for the Heartless Heathers.
Now, some really nice work by the offense to drop through. They got Untamed Shrew out. She managed to get her points, and she called off the jam. Because she was the lead jammer, she was in control of that jam, and as you saw her hit her hips, she called it off.
Now, the reason the jammers, we focus on them at first is because once the first one gets through the pack legally, that skater is declared lead jammer. That means that that skater can then end the jam prematurely at any time she desires.
Now, the rest of the players out there on the pack, they make up the pack. Those are the blockers. As you can see, both jammers managed to get their way past the blockers, but their jobs are to play offense and defense at the same time.
So Headache, who was the lead jammer in that jam, called off the jam for the Heathers. She did pick up 1 point before she called off the jam.
You're going to see Blast Unicorn and Copernicus out there for the first time on that jam line with the stars on their helmets. There's a slight pack advantage for Guns N' Rollers as one of the blockers is in the penalty box for the Heartless Heathers.
That is Mad Eye Marley. She is going to start this jam in the Pabst Blue Ribbon penalty box. When you are assessed a penalty, you report to the penalty box and you sit for 30 seconds.
And right there, Blast Unicorn gets out first. She's your lead jammer, and she is in scoring position.
Now you notice the frenetic movement of the blockers on the track. They are playing both offense and defense at the same time. 4 points picked up by the Blast Unicorn as she calls off the jam.
We're going to see Screaming Beaver out there once again up against Untamed Shrew. We've got a score of 8-5. GNR right now in the lead, but that's only 3 points, and that's an easy score to get up on. Nice tight pack. Screaming Beaver tries to go up that outside line, and she is out as your lead jammer.
Now, Untamed Shrew had been recycled all the way behind the jam line there by the Guns N' Rollers blockers.
And she so quickly got around that pack, they were trying to play offense, and she picks up a grand slam.
Multiplayer block being assessed to jammer Untamed Shrew. She's going to report to the Pabst Blue Ribbon penalty box for 30 seconds.
And the knife jumped out there, played some offense, and made another easy pass for Screaming Beaver.
Now, while the Guns N' Rollers don't have a jammer on the track, you'll notice the Guns N' Rollers blockers trying to play defense, Heartless Heathers blockers playing offense.
Nice, easy jam there to try and get through. She's got 2 blockers to beat. They're bridging it out, but they've got to let her go.
Screaming Beaver clear of the pack for another 5 points. Juvie Hall called for blocking out of play. She is going to go sit in the penalty box for 30 seconds.
Right now, the penalty whistles are being blown. A back block being picked up on Rorschach Tess.
French Tickler also in the penalty box. She for the Heartless Heathers. Untamed Shrew clears the pack on a 4-point scoring pass for the Guns N' Rollers.
And Screaming Beaver calls it off. That was a huge jam for Screaming Beaver. Right now we got a score of 32-12.
Well, of course, like any other sport, you can't just foul people without regard. If you are assessed 7 penalties in 1 bout, you are done skating for the evening.
And Scald Eagle is out there up against Headache. She's playing a little bit of defense down there with their team, considering they've got a couple blockers in the box.
Nice swarming defense on display by the Guns N' Rollers right there. Headache does find room on the inside rail. She is through. Lead jammer, Heartless Heathers.
Excellent defense right now by the Heathers. Taddy Mustard leading the... Oh, and she drew a forearm. That was orchestrated solely by Taddy Mustard, playing excellent one-on-one D.
Meanwhile, Headache taking advantage of the power jam for a full 5 points. She gets a point for every opposing blocker she passes, as well as any blockers or skaters for the opposing team that might be in the penalty box.
And something different you might not know as opposed to last season. This season penalties are only 30 seconds. So she's got to capitalize on it as quick as she can.
Headache goes round the outside around all the defenders on her way to 5 more points.
Headache engages that wall, bits a wallop on Havana Goodtime, and managed to eke on through, but a cut being drawn, and she's headed to the penalty box.
So now it's going to be Scald Eagle and the Guns N' Rollers with a 30-second power jam, and Scald Eagle.
Ladies and gentlemen, prepare for takeoff. Scald Eagle is on the track.
Pack is very active right now. Heartless Heathers trying to hold back Scald Eagle. Nice exit hit by Taddy Munster, but since she went out of bounds, Scald Eagle could come back in front of her legally.
4 points being picked up on that pass.
And Scald Eagle quickly through the pack for another 5-point scoring pass. Guns N' Rollers have been extremely active on their offense this power jam.
And this jam comes to an end. Headache was bearing around that track, and Scald Eagle was up there picking up the points. We got a score of 47-26. Ron Tonkin Fiat. Test drive a Fiat at Ron Tonkin and get free Derby tickets. That's Ron Tonkin Fiat.
Blast Unicorn jamming against Yo Gonna Be Sorry. Blast Unicorn trying to push out the 3 Guns N' Rollers defenders at the front of the pack out. She is still fighting. She is clear. Lead jammer goes to Heartless Heathers.
That's some great defense down there. Mad Eye Marley getting a piece of her and escorting You Gonna Be Sorry out of bounds.
Heathers recycling to the front of the pack, trying to stop Yo Gonna Be Sorry, who's on her initial pass. Back block penalty assessed to the Blast Unicorn.
Oh, but there's a cut on Yo Gonna Be Sorry. So both jammers are headed to the penalty box. Now, folks, in case you don't know, this is how this works. Both of them have to take a seat. The first one gets released, and the other one only gets to serve as much time as the first one did. Because as you know in roller derby, it's no fun without a jammer on the track.
Blast Unicorn now attacking the front of the pack. Since both jammers went to the penalty box, there is no lead jammer this jam. Blast Unicorn through the pack. She is clear on her initial pass.
Really, really strong defense being laid down by the Heathers. Yo Gonna Be Sorry having some big problems trying to get through. Mad Eye Marley picking up a high block when she popped up on Yo Gonna Be Sorry.
Knife waiting to play inverse offense for the Blast Unicorn. Blast Unicorn with one to beat up front. That's Copernicus, last line of defense for GNR. 5 points for Blast Unicorn.
Yo Gonna Be Sorry finally breaches the pack on her initial pass.
Frenetic energy in the pack tonight. Blast Unicorn up against the 3-wall, now 4-wall at the front of the pack. Gets pushed to the inside.
Both jammers right now stuck behind some excellent defense, but just like that, Blast Unicorn finds the light of day on the outside, and she gets through.
That was a 5-point scoring pass at the end of that jam for the Blast Unicorn. And it looks like we have an official timeout down on the track. Now fans, the teams each have 3 timeouts. They're allowed to take those in between the jams. They last for 1 minute in length. The officials have as many timeouts as they need to make sure that all the points have been tallied correctly, that the time is correct, and that all the rules are being followed and that everyone is safe. The King is downstairs checking on the track to see what's going on.
Well, Mike checks what they're checking on is to see if a person left the penalty box too soon.
Fair enough. It looks like Yo Gonna Be Sorry in that last jam left the penalty box prematurely. That is an illegal procedure, and she's now being assessed an additional 30-second penalty. That means the Heartless Heathers, who are currently leading by 28, will start this next jam in a power jam. So Screaming Beaver trying to fight against Havana Goodtime and Vava Boom at the front of the pack.
And it looks like Vava Boom possibly getting a high block call out there. So she's going to be taking a seat in the Pabst Blue Ribbon penalty box.
Screaming Beaver, the lead jammer in this jam, now working on scoring more points for the Heartless Heathers.
Both jammers at Royal.
Untamed Shrew trying to hold back Screaming Beaver at the front of the pack. Screaming Beaver through for a 5-point scoring pass.
Yo Gonna Be Sorry finds the opening in that wall and blasts through, but ends up getting hung up behind her own wall.
Screaming Beaver, meanwhile, knocked to the inside of the track, recycled all the way back by Untamed Shrew.
And French Tickler out there with some abusive hits, just laying into Yo Gonna Be Sorry, and it looks like Pistol gets in on the act.
Well, Scratcher in the Eye was doing some great defense as well. However, she is headed to the Pabst Blue Ribbon penalty box for 30 seconds. Screaming Beaver still fighting against the Guns N' Rollers blockers in that pack.
And French Tickler right now playing a little one-on-one in the back. Yo Gonna Be Sorry, it looks slow on her feet, trying to get through that wall of blue.
French Tickler assessed a direction of play penalty. She's going to report to the Pabst Blue Ribbon penalty box. Screaming Beaver working on another scoring pass for the Heathers.
And we've got a cap pass. Untamed Shrew took the helmet cover from Yo Gonna Be Sorry, but this jam comes to an end.
4 more points picked up by the Heathers at the end of that jam. Real quick, I want to get sort of I want to test the room here. Who here is cheering for the Guns N' Rollers tonight? Heartless Heathers fans?
Sounds like one heck of a lot of blue blood out there to me. Well, this whistle goes off. Scald Eagles trying to work her way up outside line.
Headache now finds that outside rail. One left to beat up front. Shrugs off a hit from Whip It Good, lead jammer Headache.
And just like that, Scald Eagle has also found her way through that pack.
Knife is absolutely livid on the track. Thought she had drawn a track cut penalty. still arguing about that track cut penalty as she skates back to her bench area.
Big brothers, big sisters, sports buddies. The Rose City Rollers are proud sports buddy partners, encouraging young people to get out and get active. That's Big Brothers, Big Sisters, Sports Buddies.
Looks like we've got an official review down on the track. Heartless Heather's calling for that official review. Now, teams have one official review per half. However, if they use their official review and it is found that they are correct, they will be granted a second official review for the half.
So right now, what they're discussing on the track is whether or not Scald Eagle stepped out of bounds and caused a cut on the track. Now, under the new rule set, a person can straddle the line, gain control, get back out of bounds, and then enter properly. So that's kind of what they're looking at right now on the track and seeing who saw what and deciding whether or not she will be assessed a penalty. Well, after the official review, it looks like they are going to assess the penalty on that cut.
So Scald Eagle will now report to the penalty box to serve a 30-second penalty, and the Heartless Heathers will be given a second official review for the half. This is going to put the Heartless Heathers starting in yet another power jam as they have opened up a 45-point lead early here in the first half. The Blast Unicorn on the Ron Tonkin Fiat jam line to start this jam. That is you, Boo. Heartless Heathers with a slight blocker advantage as the Blast Unicorn finds room on the inside. Lead jammer, Heartless Heathers.
Well, as you can see, there's a lot of skaters right now for GNR sitting in that penalty box, and it's making it real hard to maintain and keep control.
5 points picked up by the Blast Unicorn already on the power jam.
Juvie Hall in the back trying to play a little defense, but she is picked off by that strong blue wall we've seen all night.
Blast Unicorn through for another 5 points. Credit her teammates for keeping an opposing blocker behind them, making that scoring pass easier for the Blast Unicorn.
Scald Eagle just muscling her way around that outside corner. Scratcher in the eye was trying to hold on, but she managed to get on through.
Blast Unicorn trying to find room on the inside. Gets 3 more points on that last scoring pass and calls off the jam.
Bridgetown Chiropractic, the hardest hits of the night are brought to you by Bridgetown Chiropractic. Next up in this jam on that Tonkin line, the Untamed Shrew for Guns N' Rollers and Headache for the Heartless Heathers.
Full contingent of blockers on the track to start this jam.
And so easy, she found a hole, and Headache is your lead jammer.
Untamed Shrew getting a little bit of offense from Rorschach Tess. Finally gets around Effie Stoneham. Untamed Shrew clear on her initial pass.
And the knife took a tumble and jackknifed in the middle of that track. Headache finds a hole, works her way through, and that's 4 more points for the Heartless Heathers.
Well, fans, we would like to thank Voodoo Donut. The magic is in the hole. Proud sponsor of the Rose City Rollers and the Wheels of Justice.
Oh, yeah. On the line next up, you're going to see Screamin' Beaver out there for the Guns N' Rollers and Ivana Thrasher.
4-4 in the pack. Both teams at full strength. Screaming Beaver fighting against Havana Good Time and Whip It Good. And you're going to be sorry at the front of the pack.
That was an excellent job in the back to drag back and bridge out to get her to have to start way back there. Ivana Thrasher finally breaches that pack and she's on her way.
Screaming Beaver through. 4-point scoring pass. Heartless Heathers. Whip It Good was being sent to the penalty box for an out-of-play penalty. Occurred on the first revolution around the track this jam.
And Ivana Thrasher managed to get her way through with some fancy footwork and a little help offensively from her friends.
Guns N' Rollers attacking, trying to get Ivana Thrasher through the pack.
And in the back, Screamin' Beaver hits the back of that GNR wall and is really struggling this pass. She did. She picked up a back block. That's what I thought I saw.
Ivana Thrasher and Guns N' Rollers now in a power jam. Thrasher clears the pack. 5-point scoring pass, Guns N' Rollers.
Well, there's a full complement of blockers on each team out there, but only one jammer.
Hellslinger up to play offense for the Guns N' Rollers. Thrasher again having to contend with all of the Heathers blockers. Nice move by Thrasher there.
Not quite sure how she stayed in bounds, but it don't really matter. That's 5 points for Ivana Thrasher.
Screaming Beaver out of the penalty box and pushing her way through the Guns N' Rollers defense.
And in the back, looks like Ivana Thrasher got knocked out of bounds and is drugged way back.
Havana Good Time reporting to the penalty box for the Guns N' Rollers. Screaming Beaver pushes out the front of the pack.
And the Heartless Heathers right now really turning up the spice in this. They've got a lead of 104 to 44 over the Guns N' Rollers.
And I think the jam ref was still sitting on points. 5 more points picked up at the tail end of that jam for the Heartless Heathers.
They're doing a great job on the jammer line, but really what I think is it's coming down to is their defense. Their defense right now is monstrous, and I want to see if they can maintain it for the rest of this game.
Scald Eagle opposite the Blast Unicorn to start this jam.
And still stuck in the back, Scald Eagle.
Blast Unicorn through, lead jammer goes to the Heartless Heathers.
And in the pack, they're really trying to mix it up. Blast Unicorn gets in there, picks up a point or two or three, picks up 3, and still holding GNR scoreless.
Well, fans, we would like to thank Timothy Murray Photography. Visit TimothyMurrayPhotography.com for classic black and white film derby images.
From that Tonkin line is Headache and Untamed Shrew.
Untamed Shrew gets pushed to the outside of the front straightaway.
Havana Good Time just came out of the penalty box and instantly started hitting, trying to get that offense working to get their jammer free.
French Tickler recycles Untamed Shrew. Meanwhile, Headache clears the pack nearly untouched. 5-point grand slam, Guns N' Rollers.
Now that's the difference right there. GNR is missing the fact that Screaming Beaver got around there so fast, or Headache got around there so fast.
Headache being assessed a back block penalty. She's going to sit for 30 seconds as Untamed Shrew clears the pack on her initial pass.
Now this is the opportunity that GNR needs right now, a chance to get points scored without having to worry about the opposing jammer.
Untamed Shrew being recycled to the back of the pack, going to take another run at this scoring pass.
And that was great offensive work by her team to help her get through by holding down the other blockers.
Havana Goodtime doing a good job against French Tickler on that scoring pass, neutralizing French Tickler.
And what they've really done, Heartless Heathers have neutralized that power jam. As you can see, Headache is back on the track and in scoring position again.
5 points on that scoring pass for the Heartless Heathers. Untamed Shrew goes round the outside.
Untamed Shrew finally works her way through, but Headache so quickly has gotten back in that pack, and she's pounding up against the back of that GNR wall.
Headache clear of the pack once again. Untamed Shrew working her way through. 4 points for the Heartless Heathers.
Untamed Shrew tries to find a hole on that inside line. She managed to get through, but once again, Headache is there. One blocker to beat, and there's another 4 points.
Havana Goodtime with the positional blocking up front, trying to hold back Headache.
Headache around the outside, almost as if Artemis Foulmouth was looking the wrong way. Scooted it on by and picked up easy peasy points.
And we've got a team timeout on the track. Team timeout being called by the Guns N' Rollers.
I'd like to share some love with Twist Sports Conditioning Center, the official training partner of the Wheels of Justice. Visit twistportland.com. Also like to share the love with the Portland Mercury, the food, arts, and entertainment news you need.
Guns N' Rollers going to take this opportunity to talk about what is working and what is not for their team right now. They are on the back end of a 134-59 score, but we still have a little more than 8 minutes left to go in this first half of play.
Well, you know that a score like this, it's a good time to take that break. They can get back in this game. It's not unattainable, but this is where they've got to kind of dig down and start chipping away at that. So come the second half, they're in a good position to get back that lead.
We're going to return to play. Guns N' Rollers with a 4-3 blocker advantage. Blast Unicorn jamming for the Heartless Heathers. Copernicus jamming for the Guns N' Rollers.
And she is dropped out of bounds on that inside line, and they take her way back.
Multiplayer block being assessed to Yoga to be sorry. She's headed to the penalty box for 30 seconds. Blast Unicorn through the pack first. Lead jammer Heartless Heathers hot on her wheels. Copernicus for GNR.
Yeah, this right now is a foot race to the back of the pack. Oh, and let's see what they... Oh, no points either team. You know, I actually agree with that call.
Fist in the air for ref solidarity. No score in that jam.
Bike Punk, locally printed, eco-friendly sticker, signs, and designs. Visit bikepunk.com.
3-2 blocker advantage in favor of the Heathers to start the next jam. Scald Eagle.
Really engaged the back of that blue wall, and she's pushing to get herself out.
But it's Screaming Beaver clearing the pack first for the Heartless Heathers.
Finally, Scald Eagle has breached that pack, and right now they're in a battle for position on the inside.
Screaming Beaver goes round the outside of Juvie Hall, calls off the jam. 4 points picked up on that scoring pass.
You know, I can't say enough right now for the blockers, right? For the blockers of the Heartless Heathers, they are doing it all. They know when to play offense, and they can switch to defense on a spot just like that. That is what is really dominating this game and giving GNR a hard time for scoring.
Fans, we'd like to thank the Buffalo Gap Saloon and Eatery, John Landing's favorite eatery and saloon. That's the Buffalo Gap.
Untamed Shrew and Headache once again on the line for their teams.
And once again, the Heartless Heathers starting out this jam with a one blocker advantage.
Effie Stone on the last line of defense on the Untamed Shrew, and the Untamed Shrew is untamed as a jammer. She's your lead jammer out there.
Headache now clear of the pack for the Heartless Heathers.
Heather's up front right now. Looks like they're trying to pick one off, and it is. Rorschach Test got one in the back.
Untamed Shrew trying to call off that jam.
A lot of big hits out there.
And again, no points scored in that jam, King.
New Belgian Brewing, Fat Tire Ale or Ranger IPA. Grab one from concessions. Holy smokes, it's 4-on-4 in the blocker war out there on the floor.
Empty penalty box means a full Ron Tonkin Fiat jam line to start this jam. Ivana Thrasher jamming for the Guns N' Rollers. Blast Unicorn for the Heartless Heathers.
And knife dropped Ivana Thrasher and took her way back. But Blast Unicorn had the same luck going up against GNR.
Ivana Thrasher battling with French Tickler at the front of the pack. Knockbox joining her.
That was a great hit by Copernicus in the apex, and it got him a chance to reset and form up their wall.
Now Mad Eye Marley doing a good job bridging out the pack for the Heartless Heathers, but was assessed a penalty. She is headed to the penalty box as Ivana Thrasher has been recycled to the back of the pack.
Wow, this is just a defensive struggle by both teams. And finally, Ivana Thrasher gets through and is the lead jammer.
Blast Unicorn still working on her initial pass. French Tickler almost freed her. Copernicus and Juvie Hall, nice job up front. That's Keto Kabam helping out.
All right, yeah, and both jammers right now. Copernicus up front and really slowing down that jammer, which is Blast Unicorn. Two bodies on the floor and a whistle being blown. What is the call?
Low block on Ivana Thrasher.
Not what I was expected. This is a bad turn for the Guns N' Rollers.
Power jam Heartless Heathers.
And we've got a star pass. Little Miss Moffat out there. That is French Tickler. She's got the jammer star on.
Heathers go on offense, clearing out the outside rail. Juvie Hall cycles up with Copernicus. And Juvie Hall, an out-of-play penalty for her troubles.
And hitting out of play, yeah, that's what the call was. Once again, French Tickler's in there. She found a nice big hole right in the middle. 5 easy points.
2 points being held for Ivana Thrasher at the end of that jam.
Kind Bars. The Kind Bars, all natural whole nut and fruit bars made from ingredients you can see and pronounce. That's Kind Bars.
I want to thank them too.
They're very kind people.
4-3 pack advantage, Heathers to start this jam. Scald Eagle jamming for the Guns N' Rollers. Screaming Beaver for the Heartless Heathers.
A lot of hitting going on in that apex, and Scald Eagle, the first one out. And they went running up there. She's trying to eat the baby, but this is the case where, they were out of play and could not stop that blocker.
GNR losing 2 blockers. Rorschach Tess and Yo gonna be sorry. Heartless Heathers losing Nacho Lucky Day. Much smaller pack for the jammers this time around.
Yeah, I didn't think so. She came down out of bounds, wisely stayed on the ground, but called that jam off.
Scratcher of the eye and Bella Constrictor celebrating in turn 4.
Joe's Burgers, 4 locations, awesome burgers in the official feeder of the Rose City Rollers. That's Joe's Burgers. And by the way, if you haven't been to Joe's Burgers, you gotta go, it's delicious.
Back advantage, Heartless Heathers again to start this jam. Untamed Shrew playing some defense.
And right like that, Headache is around the outside, and she's your lead jammer.
Roller Eclipse trying to get some offense for Untamed Shrew as Headache hits the back of the pack.
Havana, good time, really laying into it, not letting Headache get anywhere.
Headache getting a track cut penalty, argues the call on her way to the box. Untamed Shrew through the pack, 5 points.
Well, she did get pushed out, but I don't think she saw the other player that was out there with her.
Pack a little more thick now as the penalty box has started to clear. Untamed Shrew fighting against the Heathers front wall.
Taddy Munster hitting the wrong way, and she's going to get served a penalty.
Untamed Shrew clear the pack for the Guns N' Rollers. That's a 5-point scoring pass.
This is the way they need to end this half. A little bit of strength there. Offense trying to be played wisely. Heathers jump up, but they can't stop her or hope to contain her.
5-point scoring pass for Untamed Shrew. Headache attacking the pack once again on a scoring pass for the Heathers. Nice battle between her and Rorschach Tess up front.
And 5 more points by the Untamed Shrew. Right now the Guns N' Rollers taking the front, and they're going to want to hold it down right there.
4 more points picked up by Headache. Jammers coming around, and Untamed Shrew, huge hold to skate through on the outside. That's 4 more points.
It was almost like they didn't see her coming. Headache finally managed to get her way through. It looks like another penalty being assessed on Yo Gonna Be Sorry.
Out of play penalty on Yo Gonna Be Sorry.
And this jam comes to an end. And it's halftime, ladies and gentlemen.
What a crazy jam to end the half with.
Wow.
Holy cow.
Almost too much to talk about in that one. Well, I hope everybody had a good halftime. We're about to get this next half started right now. All right, GNR fans, your team needs some love. Why don't you get the hollering started? Okay, or maybe not. What about my Heathers fans? Where are you?
Scald Eagle jamming for the Guns N' Rollers to start the second half. Headache jamming for the Heartless Heathers.
And just like that, Scald Eagle weaves inside to out, and she is through.
Headache now clear of the pack for the Heartless Heathers.
It's a 3-on-3 pack. Oh, nice work offensively by Copernicus to get her jammer through.
Headache goes down between turns 3 and 4.
And she gets escorted out by Copernicus, giving another scoring opportunity to Scald Eagle.
5 more points, Scald Eagle. Headache attacking the front of the pack.
Nice wall being set down in the back by the Heathers. Scald Eagle having a hard time, takes him into the apex, but finally finds a way through and calls off that jam.
Not only does she get another 4 points for that scoring pass, I believe that she pushed all 4 Heathers blockers and 2 GNR blockers forward in that jam.
I'd like to give a big shout out to our league sponsors, Portland Vital Signs, City Graphics, and Portland Independent Films. Thank you very much.
Blast Unicorn jamming for the Heartless Heathers. Untamed Shrew for the Guns N' Rollers.
Blast Unicorn stuck behind an incredibly strong GNR wall, unable to get through.
Untamed Shrew through the pack first. Lead jammer going to GNR. That's 2 in a row for them to start this second half.
Juvie Holland, Rorschach Tess really doing a good job slowing down that jammer, and it's good enough to get Untamed Shrew through for 4 more points.
Nice exit hit by Juvie Hall on the Blast Unicorn. Untamed Shrew now attacking the pack on a scoring pass.
This is a much, much better half to start out for GNR. They're playing defense like they are reignited.
5-point scoring pass, Untamed Shrew. GNR well over the 100-point mark now. They've closed to a 53-point gap with the Heathers.
Effie Stoneham up front, last line of defense. Untamed Shrew calls it off.
Guns N' Rollers fans, give your team some props for that jam.
Cars to Go, meet the future of car sharing. Sign up today at carstogo.com.
Havana Good Time and Mad Eye Marley getting friendly before the start of this next jam. Heartless, Heather sending out Screaming Beaver to the jam line.
Everybody nice and tight down on that talking jam line right now. That whistle goes and Untamed Shrew's trying to find a hole on the outside, and she's through as your lead jammer.
Screaming Beaver still working through the pack. Nice cycling up front by the Guns N' Rollers blockers. That's Ivana Thrasher and Havana Good Time. Out of play penalty being assessed. Scald Eagle tries to eat the baby, and a track cut penalty called. Power jam, Guns N' Rollers.
And just like that, they're in a power jam, and around the outside, Scald Eagle picks up 5.
Ivana Thrasher picks up a direction of play penalty. She's going to report to the penalty box for 30 seconds.
They're really clogging the middle. Havana Good Time trying to open something up. Right now they've got French Tickler cut in the back, and Scald Eagle is out front and sends French Tickler face down.
Scald Eagle calls off the jam, and GNR has come out like a house on fire the second half.
There's the GNR fans. I knew they were sitting there just being quiet. PDX Pipeline, your online source for Portland music, arts, entertainment happenings. PDX Pipeline. Rorschach Test, the solo jammer for the GNR.
36 points separate the two teams at the start of this jam. Rorschach Test fighting against the front, scratcher in the eye, last line of defense.
Roller Clips got a hold of that jammer, but she eked on by. Screaming Beaver doing a beautiful job as jammer for the Heartless Heathers.
Heather set up in the back of the pack. Rorschach Test attacks, calls off the jam. But Rorschach Test assessed a back block penalty at the end of that jam. 3 points, Guns N' Rollers, but they lose their jammer to start the next jam, King.
Well, so far in 5 minutes, they have cut this lead to 33 points. And as you know in the game of roller derby, that ain't nothing. Kelly Brown, debt relief. Kelly Brown likes roller derby, and you should like her debt relief. That's Kelly Brown, debt relief.
Nacho Lucky Day jamming, but going to the penalty box for a back block penalty.
And we're going to have a change of the guards. Once again, Rorschach Test is coming out. She's going to be in a power jam.
Havana Good Time playing offense in the backfield. Rest of the GNR blockers playing inverse offense. Rorschach Test battling against French Tickler.
Ooh, and that's a big hit from Kato Kabam.
Rorschach Test through the pack, lead jammer, Guns N' Rollers.
Really, really pressing that wall. Oh, and a penalty, multiplayer on Juvie Hall.
Rorschach Test through the pack, calls off the jam. 4 more points, Guns N' Rollers.
And that cuts it to 29 points in between.
Well, fans, we would like to thank Bridgetown Automotive. They're awesome mechanics. We trust them, and so should you. That's Bridgetown Automotive.
Blast Unicorn once again taking the line for your Heartless Heathers. And the Untamed Shrew, a name we've said over and over, out there for GNR. Nice tight wall being laid down by the Heathers. Untamed Shrew having a hard time in that apex.
GNR blockers trying to hold back the Blast Unicorn. Everybody goes down on the far straightaway.
And French Tickler picking up a multiplayer block.
Lead jammer, Blast Unicorn.
Really depleted pack with only one blocker out there for the Heathers.
Smart point protection by both teams there.
Nightlife Lounge, Rose City Rollers' favorite Clinton Street bar and only place to get Rose City Roller tickets in town. That's the Nightlight Lounge.
And after all that, we've got an official timeout down on the track. All right, so now that the score's a little closer, Heartless Heathers fans, where are you? You're right down there. You're wearing blue. Guns and Rollers fans, where are you guys? What about Lily? Where's Lily? Happy 22nd birthday to Lily. Thank you for joining us here this evening.
Well, the only thing we are doing down here is making sure all the penalties in this heavy-duty action were assessed correctly. Game on.
Scald Eagle jamming for the Guns N' Rollers. Headache for the Heartless Heathers. And Scald Eagle through the pack first. Lead jammer, Guns N' Rollers.
Nice work by the Guns N' Rollers right now, shutting down Headache. I think that's the first heavy action she's had to deal with all night.
Scald Eagle accelerates on the outside. Big hit. And Scald Eagle calls off the jam. Whoa, and we have a broken skate.
Oh, she broke a truck, and that's French Tickler.
That's an official timeout down on the track while we get all the spare pieces picked up.
Poor K, no?
Poor K, yes.
Amazing taqueria food with 2 locations on Mississippi and Hawthorne. That's Poor K, no.
Do you guys realize what you just saw down there? Like, that whole thing came apart. Yeah, that's right. You didn't see hits that big during the last Blazer game.
Once again, Guns N' Rollers out there with a pack advantage. All 4 of their players are on the track. Only 2 Heathers. Copernicus trying to play some offense, tried to open up that hole. Untamed Shrew still struggling to get through.
Copernicus now with the lockdown defense against the Blast Unicorn, and it's Untamed Shrew lead jammer.
She did a great job of offense to defense and back again, and now she's still got Blast Unicorn stuck in the back.
Untamed Shrew pushes through the pack. 5 points, Guns N' Rollers.
That's a natural grand slam. Untamed Shrew being picked up and shut down by all 4 of those blockers right now.
Copernicus pushing the Blast Unicorn outside turn 3.
But she's going to pick up a penalty for trouble, and it looks like the penalty issues are going to flip-flop for GNR.
Blast Unicorn looking for the out-of-play call, does get it. She is clear on her initial pass. And Untamed Shrew picks up 5 more points for the Guns N' Rollers.
And just like that, look at that score, 164-147. GNR keeps creeping a little bit closer. Bridgetown Chiropractic, those of you sitting trackside are in the Bridgetown Boneyard, sponsored by Bridgetown Chiropractic.
Pack advantage, Heartless Heathers to start this jam. Screaming Beaver jamming for the Heathers. Rorschach test for the Guns N' Rollers.
And they're going to drop back and play a little bit of offense, trying to get Rorschach test out of that pack.
Havana good time trying to play the offense. Rorschach test through on the inside rail.
And she did it all with Derby 101. Just keep those feet moving. Screaming Beaver blast through there. She picks up 4 points on that pass.
Pack continues its breakneck pace. Copernicus and the GNR blockers trying to hold back Bellic and Strichter.
And now that they've got all their blockers back out there, Copernicus and Havana Goodtime doing a great job trying to set up that truck and trailer and shutting down Screaming Beaver.
Screaming Beaver recycled to the back. Rorschach Test pushed out by Mad Eye Marley.
And a cut. Cut being called. Rorschach Test has a seat in that penalty box.
Screaming Beaver recycled to the back of the pack once more.
Lots of defense being played out there. Lots of big hits. Scratcher in the eye. She's got a cat pass.
Fighting against Havana Goodtime. Copernicus. Ivana Thrasher.
Havana Goodtime got the direction of play. She was skating the wrong way when she made a hit. And she's going to spend some time in the penalty box.
Rorschach Test working on pushing the pack forward again. Scratcher in the eye. Knocked to the inside by Copernicus.
Copernicus pretty much has that move down solid. Escorts out of bounds, drops her in the straightaway.
Well, fans, we would like to give a shout out to Amber's Party. They are joining us here this evening in the hangar. Amber and company, hope you're having a great time.
Hope Baraka Realtor helping Portlanders buy and sell their dream houses as Hope Baraka Realtor.
.22 lead for the Heartless Heathers as Scald Eagle takes to the jam line versus Headache.
Scald Eagle doing a nice job, but even nicer was the defense by the Heartless Heathers.
Scald Eagle opens up her own hole. She is through the pack as well.
And it seems to be a Bigfoot race with many players to the back of that pack.
Nice job by Havana Goodtime coming out of the penalty box, overtaking Headache.
That was kind of crazy, I gotta say.
4 points for the Heartless Heathers on that jam.
Big Brothers, Big Sisters, Sports Buddies. Rose City Rollers is proud to be a Sports Buddy partner, encouraging young people to get out and get active. That's a Big Brothers, Big Sisters, Sports Buddies.
Illegal procedure being assessed to knife. You are not allowed to knock somebody out of position before the starting whistle. That is why she is headed to the penalty box.
And even though Untamed Shrew got out and she's your lead jammer, it's a foot race.
Blast Unicorn right behind her. 4-on-3 pack advantage for GNR. And 1 point picked off by the Heathers on that jam. Well, fans, we'd like to thank OHSU Sports Medicine. Immediate care for RCR athletes through their sports medicine hotline. That's 503-494-4000 for OHSU Sports Medicine.
Right now we got a score of 177-150. Oh, and there's a timeout on the track.
Team timeout on the track. We'd like to kick it over to DJ Quiet Mind for the Louis Armstrong Music Minute.
Well, the Guns N' Rollers have really started this first part of the second half, I should say, just bearing down on the Heathers, trying to claw their way back into this game.
Screaming Beaver jamming for the Heartless Heathers. Scald Eagle for the Guns and Rollers.
Nice wall being set up, but Scald Eagle is through as your lead jammer.
GNR defense able to contain Screaming Beaver so far.
Excellent defense right now being set up by Guns and Rollers.
Nice bridge out by Whippet, good. Taddy Munster recycles Scald Eagle. But not before Scald picks up 1 point.
Well, they're just chipping away on it. And that's the way to do it. Make sure you're getting points and make sure you're stopping them from scoring. Bike Punk, locally printed, eco-friendly stickers, signs, and designs. Visit bikepunk.com.
Roller Eclipse called for a late penalty in that last jam. She is starting this jam in the penalty box.
Rorschach test right now, just abusing the back of that blue wall. She's got one player left to beat and just muscles her way through.
Scratcher in the eye was the last line of defense there. Blast Unicorn now against Copernicus and Juvie Hall. Knocked to the inside. Nice bridge by Hellslinger.
And the offense begins. They're trying to get her through. They have picked off a few players. Rorschach test trying to score.
Rorschach test calls off the jam. 4 points for her effort.
Twist Sports Conditioning Center, official training partner of the Wheels of Justice. Visit twistportland.com.
Untamed Shrew jamming for Guns and Rollers. Headache for the Heartless Heathers.
Untamed Shrew up against that blue wall, trying to just push her way through. Realized she wasn't getting anywhere, and she is taken out of bounds. Cut track being called on Untamed Shrew.
Lead jammer goes to Headache. She gets pushed outside of turn 3 and recycled.
No pack being called. They've got to drop back, and they've got to let her go.
Remember, that was Headache's initial pass. She is lead jammer this jam. Headache through the pack. 5-point grand slam. Heartless Heathers.
Whip it good. Manages to stop her. Headache is right now sitting up against the back of that GNR wall, having a hard time trying to get through this pass.
Untamed Shrew through the pack on her initial pass. 4-point scoring pass for Headache.
Taddy Munster getting a direction of play, and man, did she lay into the GNR blockers.
Untamed Shrew puts on the afterburners, clears the pack for 4 points.
Around the outside, Headache is out there. Havana Good Time, you're gonna be sorry, trying to slow her down. She calls it off, and it looks like she's just done been wore out.
4 more points for Headache at the end of that jam.
New Belgian Brewing Company, Fat Tire Ale or Ranger IPA. Go on over to concessions and grab one now. In case you're watching us at home, you're watching us on Blaze Streaming Media. Thank you very much, Blaze. We love you, and we love roller derby.
Scald Eagle jamming for the Guns and Rollers. Blast Unicorn clear of the pack, but not the lead jammer.
Well, this is one of those cases where they need to get to the front of the pack or call it.
Look at the speed of that pack right now. Scald Eagle decides to call off the jam. No points scored in that one.
You know, that's one of those where it's just going to wear you out to try and keep up with that pack. And since Heathers had the lead, that's a great call to stay in front.
Well, fans, I would like to thank Joe's Burgers, 4 locations, awesome burgers, and the official feeder of the Rose City Rollers Volunteers. That's Joe's Burgers.
And if you ever need a idea for what to eat there, just give me a call. Rorschach Tess once again on that line. She's trying to get through. She found a hole. Oh, Mad Eye Marley got a hold of her, but didn't run back. Rorschach Tess, she's your lead jammer.
Meanwhile, Screaming Beaver through the pack for the Heartless Heathers. Both jammers clear. And King, we've got ourselves another scoreless jam.
Wow. Well, as long as they can maintain it. Voodoo Donuts, the magic is in the hole. Proud sponsor of the Rose City Rollers and the Wheels of Justice. That is Voodoo Donuts.
Just under 10 minutes left to play. Heartless Heathers still with a 31-point lead over the Guns N' Rollers.
Nice tight pack going off the Tonkin Fiat Jam line.
Blast Unicorn trying to push to the outside. Untamed Shrew followers her, goes around, and she is through. Lead jammer Guns N' Rollers.
She saw that hole and went for it. Right now, Blast Unicorn is still stuck in the pack. Wall being set up by the Heathers. They're really struggling to get through.
Untamed Shrew, 4 points, 1 point, Heartless Heathers. That's still net 3 for GNR.
They're still keeping it in the 20s. We got a score of 191, 163.
Scald Eagle on the jam line along with Nacho Lucky David, an official timeout on the track. We're going to be taking a look at turn 2 there. We've had a couple skaters go down in turn 2, so we've got a couple of the outside pack or referees looking around the outside of turns 1 and 2.
Bridgetown Boneyard, those who are sitting on the sideline of the track are in the Bridgetown Boneyard, sponsored by Bridgetown Chiropractic.
You know, during this official timeout, if you don't have tickets to tomorrow night's event, you could probably download an eBay app to your phone, get on that, and then bid on the 2 remaining seats for tomorrow's sold-out doubleheader. Details can be found on eBay.
And they started at the pivot line, believe it or not. Scald Eagle with a full head of steam. Hit that wall, went around the outside. She's your lead jammer.
GNR, nice defense. Cap pass to Nacho Lucky Day.
A lot of hitting going on out there. Right now it looks like they've got a two blockers, I should say, caught in the back. Scald Eagle picks up her points and calls it off. Did she call it off in time? One point being picked up by the Heartless Heathers.
Actually 2, that was corrected. Copernicus in the...
Big brothers, big sports, big sisters, sports buddies. Rose City Rollers is proud to be a sports buddy and proud to encourage young people to get out and get active.
Headache jamming for the Heartless Heathers. Rorschach Tess for the Guns N' Rollers. Rorschach Tess barreling over, scratcher in the eye.
Nice defense being laid down once again by the Heartless Heathers. They are just abusing Rorschach Tess and not letting her get anywhere.
Ivana Thrasher picking up a multiplayer block. She's headed to the penalty box.
Headache getting out first. She's your lead jammer.
Nice job by Scratcher in the eye to recycle Rorschach Tess.
And there's a lot of hitting going on. Copernicus kicking some hard hits.
Havana Good Time giving Headache the bad end of the business, and then a back block penalty by Headache. That's going to send her to the penalty box for 30 seconds.
You know, that happens. Sometimes you get a big hit like that, you get frustrated, then you're going to start knocking people down. Copernicus with the hypothetical star pass. There she goes. She's got the star on her head now.
GNR forcing the offense. Copernicus now the jammer of record.
Nice defensive wall. Knife trying to stop her. And they could not slow her down. 5 points.
Swarming offense by GNR again. Knife knocks Copernicus to the inside. Rorschach Test delivering knife to the inside.
Well, you got to see where you're going, and when you're running backwards, nothing good can happen like that.
Knife lobbying for a high block, got the call against Rorschach Test, getting a little chippy in the pack right now.
Scratcher in the eye, taken off. Looks like she might have a cap in her hand. She's got it on her head, and that whistle is blown.
3 more points, Heartless Heathers. 28 points separate these teams under 6 minutes left to play.
And we got a timeout on the track. All right, what they are doing is reviewing a no call that they had on the track. They are actually going to assess a penalty because it was a high block, or block to the head, I should say. So there will be another player taking some time and hanging out in the penalty box.
Anybody else in this building having fun? I would hope more of you are. There's 28 points between these two teams. This has been a great bout. I know the Heathers fans down there are having fun. They're crazy.
What about those GNR fans? Anybody of those guys having fun? You know what I like about the GNR fans? They wave a lot of pink in the air. I mean, that cold blue icy heart, so they... There we go! I was waiting for it! Papa and Baba Nato down there. I can always rely on them with their blue wavings.
Head referee Kieran Duncan over talking to Rorschach Tess in the penalty box. I believe that high block penalty was assessed to her. And it appears as though that high block may have been deemed an egregious high block, and Rorschach Tess will not be skating for the remainder of the evening.
And we did see Knife actually leave the track also, so I'm wondering if there was a little something heavy duty in the middle of that we didn't see of here on the announcer's booth.
Because, you know, this bout hasn't had enough going on in it yet.
No, man, no. Especially in this second half. I think they were just warming up in the first half, and then crazy pants happened, you know?
Hey, fans, real quick, if this is your first Derby event, can I get you to raise your hand real quick? I'm just curious.
Yeah, first Derby event, people, raise your hand.
Yeah, you picked a good one. Well done. You
All
won
right.
at picking Derby events tonight. That's awesome. This has been a great bout. Thank you for joining us. I would tell you to come back tomorrow, but it's sold out. You need to get on eBay and get those tickets.
And for those of you at home watching on Blaze Streaming Media, make sure you buy your tickets in advance next time so you don't have to sit at home on the comfort of your own couch and watch on a laptop.
Unless you're living in like another state, like Louisiana or something.
Yeah, and Louis Armstrong, down there in Louisiana, eat some gumbo, barefoot and pregnant.
We did get confirmation on the floor. 503 Rorschach Tess relieved of her skating duties this evening for the Guns N' Rollers, and number 3 for the Heartless Heathers, Knife, also relieved of her skating duties this evening. So each team will be skating with only 13 skaters for the remainder of the bout. Intrigue.
And out there on the track, you're going to see a slight package advantage for the Heathers. They're going to have 3 blockers out there with only 2 blockers for the Guns N' Rollers. Untamed Shrew with a star on her helmet for the Guns N' Rollers. Screaming Beaver with the star on her helmet for the Heartless Heathers. And we're off.
Untamed Shrew trying to push the Heathers 3-wall forward.
Nice defense by both teams right now. Havana Goodtime escorted Screamin' Beaver out of bounds.
Now Havana Goodtime being sent off the track, and Untamed Shrew being sent off the track. No Guns N' Rollers on the track. Juvie Hall.
Taddy Munster did a fine job down there, escorting the jammer out of bounds and faking her out, causing that cut. So right now, the Heathers are in a power jam.
And taking advantage right now is GNR with only 2 blockers on the track. Juvie Hall getting called for an out of play.
They're taking this wall way back. Nice recycling, or bridge work, I should say. Untamed Shrew, she hit that wall, she blew a hole in it, and she is trying to get out. Oh, Frenchie and Nacho doing a fine work defensively.
Nice job by Copernicus in the backfield recycling Screaming Beaver. Heathers have already done damage this jam though. Nice footwork by Untamed Shrew. GNR defense locking down Screaming Beaver in the back of the pack.
Well, but up there in the front, there was some ginormous slowage as the Blue Wall of Blue would not let her through. Finally, she found the light of day, but she is wore out and doing something different. Passing that cap. Havana Goodtime's got the helmet cover on, and she's now trying to get through that wall.
Whoa, big hit. Havana Goodtime dropped in turn 3. French Tickler picking up a forearm penalty. Heathers picking up 3 points. GNR picking up 1 point.
That was a huge struggle by both teams. Both of them locked down their defense, and what you saw was the Heathers actually come out on top. The reason that happened, penalties. You got to stay out of that penalty box, especially this late in the game when you're trying to get back in it.
Team timeout being called by the Heartless Heathers. We're going to kick it over one more time to DJ Quiet Mind for the Louis Armstrong Music Minute. You know, they've shortened the penalties to 30 seconds. It seems like they've shortened the timeouts to 30 seconds. I know they haven't, but it feels like it.
Well, that's only because you were dancing so much to the one that I want, you know.
Scald Eagle jamming once again for the Guns N' Rollers. Blast Unicorn for the Heathers.
And they both broke through, but Scald Eagle is your lead jammer.
And now we've got a team timeout being called by the Guns N' Rollers.
Yeah, when both jammers jump out there like that, it's just a foot race to the back, and you don't want to lose any points right now if you're the Guns N' Rollers. It's a good timeout. It's a good place to stop and reassess what you're going to do. Still a pack advantage for the Heartless Heathers as they have 3 blockers out there on the track. French Tickler still sitting in the box. But there's only 2 blockers out there for the Guns N' Rollers. Juvie Hall and Whip It Good will be cooling their wheels in the penalty box.
Fans, we'd like to thank Snack Kind Bars. Snack like there's no tomorrow with Kind Snacks.
Also like to thank Black Cat Plumbing. Black Cat Plumbing, your local neighborhood plumbing company and proud part of the Rose City Rollers since 2009. That's Black Cat Plumbing. Copernicus trying to sit out front, playing a little bit defense on Headache. And Headache gets out front, and she's your lead jammer.
Multiplayer block assessed to Taddy Munster.
Copernicus finally breaches that pack right around Mad Eye Marley. Frenchie gets up in there, instantly starts playing offense.
Out of play, penalty being assessed to
somebody. 4 more points, though, for the Heartless Heathers.
That would be Juvie Hall, it looks like.
And yeah, Juvie Hall's going to be sitting some time in that penalty box once again. Taking the front pivot line, well, just for the quick second. Looks like they're going to have another official timeout.
Well, and we saw head referee Kieran Duncan going over to the penalty box. If the Ringster statistics are correct, that is Juvie Hall, number 419 for the Guns N' Rollers. That is her 7th penalty, which means she is done skating for the evening. And that was that. Juvie Hall, 7th penalty.
Well, the minute and 47 seconds left. Scald Eagle's out there. She's working her way around, and she's your lead jammer.
Vava Boom escorting the Blast Unicorn to the inside. Havana Good Time, nice positional blocking up front.
Excellent work right now by GNR to slow down that jammer and keep her in check. Beautiful, beautiful footwork by Scald Eagle, and if you've ever seen her skate like that, you know what we're talking about. 5 points on the track.
Blast Unicorn clears the pack for the Heartless Heathers.
Scald Eagle, beautiful stop. Trying to go to inside, goes back to the in again. Oh, and nice little work by Blast Unicorn. Jammer on jammer defense.
And like a Blast Unicorn, 4 points, Heartless Heathers.
Scald Eagle up front, one player left to beat. Pistol, a swing and a miss, and a little love bump, 4 more points.
Jam is called. Team timeout, Guns and Rollers. $45 points, King.
Yeah, it's been a heck of a battle, and they really tried to come back. I think penalties in the first half a little bit affected the Guns and Rollers. The penalty struggle in the first half was close, but it was the key moments that they couldn't quite get their momentum going. Too many penalties at one time.
Well, we still do have 40 seconds on the game clock, and now we've got a team timeout being called by the Heartless Heathers. Let's call all the timeouts.
Well, you don't want to end the game having a timeout. You got to go around, slap some hands, tell everybody good job.
It's not like you get to keep it for the next game.
I know. And they wanted to cheer. So everybody, Heathers want to cheer. And the crowd goes wild.
You know, King, I think it's the Heathers fans that are louder than the GNR fans.
I don't know. GNR fans are pretty loud. And that timeout comes to an end. Copernicus with a star on her helmet in this next jam, and she's going to be headed off with the headache.
Pack advantage, Heartless Heathers to start the jam. Copernicus, though, around the outside, lead jammer GNR.
Bella Constrictor trying to open up a hole, but no luck. Scald Eagle shutting down Headache. Excellent defense being played right now by the Guns and Rollers. Oh,
back block penalty to Copernicus.
And that's going to make her go to the penalty box.
And French Tickler draws the track cut penalty for the Heathers.
Oh, she probably didn't want to jam anyway. All right, and it's right now just a battle for position. Looks like the Heathers would like to be up front. Excellent offense being played out there. Copernicus going all around that track.
Copernicus knocked to the outside by Taddy Munster, who's going to recycle her all the way to the back of the pack.
And French Tickler up front, getting knocked around by Scald Eagle, and they're going to try and take her back.
And Copernicus now clears the pack. 5-point grand slam, Guns and Rollers.
Once again, Guns and Rollers trying to have a little battle in there, trying to suck a player in and hold her back. They've got a goat.
Nice offense by the Guns and Rollers to get Copernicus through. Frenchie, though, following right behind her. 4 points for each jammer.
And you know, both jammers were able to get out very easily because offense was played by both of the teams. Nice slow pack, pretty much at a dead stop. Both jammers really having a hard time with just those huge walls of defense.
Both jammers being forced to go alone against the defense. No offense in this jam right now.
Out of play being called, 4 points being picked up, and this game comes to an end. Unofficially, we have a score, 136-196. But like I said, that's heavy on the unofficially.
We are going to double check the points to make sure that the score is correct. But fans, I think it's safe to say the Heartless Heathers victorious this evening.
Heartless Heathers right now taking their victory lap. Don't go anywhere, folks. We're going to have an MVP award coming up in just a few short seconds.
And it looks like we got the thumbs up. Your final score, Heartless Heathers 240, Guns N' Rollers 198.
Well, let's not forget about how awesome GNR played out there. Guns N' Rollers, why don't you go ahead, take yourself a victory lap. All right, it's now time to announce the MVPs. I'm joined out here with Yo Gonna Be Sorry and the wonderful Scarlene. Yo Gonna Be Sorry, who is your MVP?
Screaming Beaver!
Heck yeah! Screaming Beavers, your MVP for the Heartless Heathers.
And the Heartless Heathers have chosen Copernicus as their MVP.